Hi. This is your wife.
Hello.
I'm calling you. I'm
Hello.
calling.
My
Hello.
name is Inigo Montoya.
Oh, good Lord,
You
help
keep on
me.
using that word, but I do not think it means what I think it means. And this is proof and the
Uh,
reason why you need to learn to communicate properly, because if you got something in the way, you can't talk.
oh my gosh. That's good. I love you. You're funny. You're my bug. You're my hello bug.
Okay, I'm sure it's moving on your side. Am I moving on your side?
Yes, I can see you. I can see you.
Okay, because you're recording, so that's all that matters.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Video.
we want to start.
The video is running.
Okay.
You do? You do? Okay. All right.
Okay,
Good
so
morning,
guys,
everybody.
okay, you or me first. Who's going first?
Well,
Let's
we're gonna
communicate
say.
about it. So, have you ever sat around and told yourself, I wish that I was actually communicate a whole lot better with my spouse and be able to actually let him or her know exactly what it is I'm talking about and what it means? Well, today we're going to talk about different things that can help you to be able to talk to your spouse a whole lot better, be understood, and move forward. All right,
Yeah.
we're going to tell you why it's important to have communication, what it means to be able to communicate effectively, and give you some pointers and stuff that's helped us out to be able to a whole lot better over a decade in the military, all kind of stuff. So I'm Hank.
I'm Robin, and welcome to
This is
Living Life's Journey.
there you go.
Ah, well, just again, as you can see, we still have some communication going on. We have video available to us, woohoo, for a little bit. So we thought we'd throw in. We're in the month of February, the month of love, and with that comes a whole the talking with your spouse, reaching out to one another and keeping that loving feeling going. Um,
You lost that love feeling.
Very much so, babe.
Speak
So
to me,
we
girl.
thought,
Speak to me.
oh my gosh, talk about memories on that one. So we thought we would pick up on a topic that is important to all of us, especially in a relationship, especially in a marriage, that resonates with everybody, and that would be communication. Because
Yes.
it's a skill set
Well,
that is not always we all have.
so
The proper.
I mean, if you think about it, here's the whole aspect. You're taking two different people when you get married. So Robin and I believe in marriage, it very much is two people becoming one. So I'm me and all of my baggage and all my crap from over here, taking all of her and all of her crap and her baggage from over here, we're putting it together. We're like, all right, we got one big baggage truck and we're going to go down the road looking like the Clampets.
We got a U-Haul
There's
plus
stuff
some.
that goes off. Whole thing is, if you look at both in the military and a marriage, everything is condensed down. You're in small space. So when you're single, you can go out and run around wherever you want. You can get your own space. And you're like, well, I need some me time, so just let me be for a couple of days. And people let you be, and you go do everything. You're married, you don't have that. So you're married, it's like, yeah, you want your alone time? Cool. You can go to the room for an hour, then come back out because we got to get this fixed because we got to move on to fix stuff. You're in the military? Cool. You want your alone time? You got 6 months deployed. There's your alone time. When you come home, no more alone time. Even if you have all the space, even if you have a 15-bedroom mansion, it's just two people inside of one mansion, you have got to communicate.
Mm-hmm.
Communication is just the art of one person letting another person know how they think, feel, and what their rationale is and what they're doing. If person A doesn't understand what person B is doing, then the relationship coming together to be a family doesn't work. If you want 1 + 1 to equal 2 and the two coming together to be one unit, the only way that works is if you know what where the other person's coming from. And Robin and I have been married for over 10 years. We are an amazing couple by many other people's standards, so they told us, and we have a lot less problems than everybody else. But I think that's because we are so worried about making sure we talk, because we got to make sure we know who's doing what. And ultimately, so all of these things, this is kind of a setup to tell you, why is this so important?
Mm-hmm.
Well, ultimately, here's the whole deal. If you want to be happy, you want to experience love, true love, beyond what you ever thought could possibly be there. Because can you actually communicate properly? Can you let people know? And believe you me, Just get real about it because we're married and it's biblical, but everything from your intimate relations with each other to how are you going to make a meal and who's going to be responsible for what in the kitchen? How are you just going to talk about, how are you going to put the toilet paper on the toilet roll? This can cause a fight. It has caused a fight with us. But you have to learn through those different things of how you communicate with different people. With men and women, we're all different. Some of us are more tomboyish, some of us aren't, some of us are, some of us aren't. You've got to learn how to communicate with your spouse. Otherwise, instead of having the fairy tale, you're going to have the war movie.
Well, another thing, a lot of people, to be honest, especially these days and age, we don't grow up in a home setting where we know how to properly communicate. We don't know how to communicate about ourselves and what's going on in our lives or what's going on in our heads. We have not grown up in a household that has a solid foundation in relationships. We don't have the visual representation of how to have a happy marriage. In my case, in my life, my mother's divorced. She's single. Her marriage was very abusive. Drugs, alcohol, and just domestic violence was always in my home. So living that life, I didn't know going into it what was a healthy relationship or how to properly communicate with my spouse. So I went into a marriage with that understanding of this is what I understood a marriage to be, and it was miserable.
So in our lives, we had a whole lot of really history of a lot of bad relationships all the way around. Here's the whole deal. At the end of the day, we looked at each other. I told Rob when we got married, I was like, I don't want our marriage to be messed up. I want us to be happy. I want us to be in love. She wanted to be in love too. So we're going to do this. I said, there's only one marriage I've ever seen that never had any major problems that I ever saw, and that was my grandparents. And I said, you know what? We're going to figure this out. And literally I said to her, it's like, my grandparents put God at the center of their marriage, and that's what we're going to do. And that was our platform, and that was our bedrock to say, okay, this is where we're going to start from. What does God tell us we're supposed to do? And we're going to build from there to say, okay, so what God wants, what do we do? And for us, I mean, the baseline in communication is we learned how to serve one another. A lot of people don't mention a whole lot of stuff about it, but in the Bible, in Ephesians, it says that husbands are called to love their wives as Christ loved the church. Well, Christ loved the church by giving his life for them, the entire church, so he didn't have to stand any pain or anything. So that to me as a husband tells me I'm to serve my wife. I am to serve her and give her what she needs and what she wants whenever I can. But if it's something that she wants that's going to hurt her, then I'm not supposed to give that to her, and we're supposed to talk about it and let her know what's going on and go why. Right? On the other side of the coin, it makes it easy in that regard too, because I know that what she really wants is she wants to know that she's loved. She wants to know that she's the center of who I am. If I make that the center of my communication for her, then she's going to feel loved, feel happy, and we're going to have a good time. It also says in the Bible that wives are to obey their husbands as they obey God. Well, why would a woman obey God? Well, because God's not going to hurt her. And what does it mean between the two of you? What is love to you? What is love to your spouse? And you got to be honest with it. Don't tell yourself, oh, well, it's just I want to have long walks on the beach and moonlit candle on the couch. And
I want us always to be happy.
Here's the whole deal. Yeah. Two different people. You're going to have points where it's like, you know what? I just don't want to see you right now. I love you, but I don't like you right now, and I need it by myself.
Well, because you're going to have moments because you have your own personalities, and you're going to have moments where you're going to have conflict. You're going to have moments where you're going to rub each other raw. That is natural, and it's okay, but you have to verbally explain. You can't just, like I did one day, but that's not what I verbally communicated. I grabbed my keys, grabbed my backpack, and ran out the door.
Your words were, I am done with this. I am done with you. I'm out of here. And then she got in the car and drove off. And literally,
there was something that
It was like, holy crap! But at the end of it, but here's the thing, and I'm glad that she brought that up. It's those moments like that where you learn communication. Mm-hmm. That moment right there is what's her to realize when she saw the look of like terror on my face with everything that was going on. She's like, okay, what the crap just happened? And we talked to her. I was like, you can't do that with me. That doesn't work. And she learned that, look, if you just need a timeout, just tell me, look, I need some time by myself. Leave me alone. And I'm like, Roger that. And away I go. And I give her time. We do that now where she's like, I don't want to talk to you. I'm upset. And even if it's not about me, if it's like, hey, I'm upset with somebody else, but talking to you, I'm going to take it out on you. So give me some time to process it. I'm like, okay, you're good. And there's even times with me like, sweetie, I love you. I don't want to talk right now. I'm upset. I need to go throw some heavy things against the wall or go ride a bicycle
for a while
miles or something.
And we've learned that over time. It wasn't something that was pinpointed right away. We had to learn.
Yes, and so this is a great segue. So I think we've hammered in home why it's so important. How do you do it? So how do you start communication on an open level with this? Well, the first thing I would tell you is set ground rules. Have a conversation that say, hey, we're getting together on X time of X day. Set everything in your little planner, set everything in your little schedule, whatever. Go to a restaurant, go out in the middle of the woods, go sit in your garage, sit in your backyard. If you have to, go sit in the toilet and on the bed in the bathroom, like wherever it is, you two can sit and close everybody off and just you sit and talk and say, okay, this is what we're going to talk about, and here's the ground rules. First and foremost, I'm going to suggest 3 ground rules to you that should be in every conversation when you're talking about how to communicate. First and foremost, no raised voices and no telling somebody they're wrong for the way that they want to communicate. Right? If you do that, it turns the others off. So that's your first rule. Your second rule is you're going to be very honest with no innuendos and shoot straight to the point. Because you need to be brutally honest with somebody and say, this is what I need, or this is way I have to be told this. Otherwise, you leave things up to somebody else to figure out, and you're like, well, you can figure it out because you're so awesome. If you do that, they're going to guess wrong, and then you're going to be pissed off. Yep. You will get upset at them and be like, oh, you did this. I was like,
well, you didn't clearly define what.
So that would be rule number 2, is to be brutally honest. And the third one is, don't let anything else come between you and this conversation. If you're trying to work this out, like for us, we tried to have the conversation 3 times, and everything from phone calls, like people getting involved, like, rah. And it finally was like, I'm shutting off my phone, you shut off your phone, shut off all computer stuff, everything, and we're just going to go somewhere. And we came back in, there's like 15 missed phone calls and voicemails, and everybody's like, well, what did you do? It's like, I have stuff for me. It's important to me. It's a priority. And that's the way it is. So once you've got your rules, you got your stuff set up, again, shut out the rest of the world. So again, biggest rules are, right, you need to make sure it's just the 2 of you sitting together and set the time to go do it, right? First rule is nothing is wrong in the way that it's going to be presented. So somebody's not wrong for the way that they communicate. Number 2, be brutally honest. And then number 3, yes, very straightforward about exactly what it is. And then number 3, it's just the 2 of you. That's the baseline of how. Now, if you want to add in other rules to you guys, like if you're one of those people, if you're in a group, in a relationship where everything's all about checklists and lots of rules and like super CDO, got it. Go for it. Add those things. But I would tell you those 3 is a good baseline start. And then when you do this, just sit down to talk about it. If it takes 20 minutes, it takes 20 minutes. If it takes 3 days, well, then go for a weekend. But have the conversation earlier rather than later. Believe you me, I can tell you that from us not communicating, we used to sit down and we would talk openly about this all the time, about how do we process things that are coming in. We took a period of about 3.5 weeks where she wanted to make me happy, didn't want to talk about anything that was going on. I was trying to make her happy. It was sitting around shortly before I had to take off for 30 days to go to the field on this last workup. And mind you, out of the last 4 years, I've spent almost 3 years gone away from my wife. For the Marine Corps in the military. So we were trying our best just to make each other happy. We didn't. And this is really more about that how, as we just let it go and we stopped having those talks about what's important. And we had a blow up fight about how Congress funds the military to the point of like, go sleep on the couch type fight. It's the only one we've ever had in our whole life. You need to have those conversations. And that's really the how of what you do. I have learned that with her, if she's telling me about a problem, I have to stop her and say, okay, before you go into this, is this a vent thing or is this a I fix it thing?
And because he means well, because my husband is one of these people that he wants to battle my dragons for me. He wants to conquer the world for me. And anytime something is hurting or I'm in a fit, something is going on. What is it? And sometimes my issue is, and I'm being straightforward and honest about it, is because my husband has the job that he has. He's a Uncle Sam's misguided child. I don't want to add extra pressures onto him. I don't want to keep piling on day-to-day things that might be over excessive, or I think is over excessive because of the job that he has. So I will keep it in. I'll keep it in until I become a pressure cooker and I finally pop. But if we're not communicating, how is he supposed to help me? He's my helpmate. He's what my soulmate. He's the person that's supposed to be that balance in my life. And if he doesn't know what's going on, all he sees is this frantic, crazy woman in his life that suddenly pops off one day and going through a frantic fit. And he's on the outside. I don't know. You didn't tell me. How could I know this? And so I had to learn over time how to express what I was dealing with. And he had to learn from all these little pops and stuff that I was going on, that this was my mentality, because I wanted to make sure that he was okay. I didn't want to add the pressures to him. On top of, oh, by the way, deal with all the guys at work. You're preparing for another deployment. These are the languages that they're speaking, blah, blah, blah. Here you go. Here's all the mess. Let's add that onto your deployment schedule. So I felt that I had to handle the world on my own. And we found out that, no, we can't, as a couple, we can balance each other out if we knew about it and could talk about it. So we started making an effort that we sat down and in our private time talked about everything and made sure that if there's something highly emotional, something that was like, you hurt my feelings when you said this, that we explain it, but we try not to get overly excited about it or too aggressive in the emotional arena. And if we start getting too much, we pull back from the conversation and come back at a later point to explain it, so we don't get into a fight, because it does no good in our marriage to hurt each other.
But I think the last thing that we should hit is, everybody in today's society always talks about communication being just talking. It's not. So I think the easiest way I can put it, I once saw a movie called Love Dare.
Yeah.
It was, oh no, the Love Dare was what they did, but that wasn't the movie, was it?
No, it was Fireproof.
The other side of the coin is, there's a book that goes with it called The Love Dare, that if you actually execute this thing, it will help out. Now, this is a Christian-based movie. There's lots of things that'll tell you to do, but there's also Bible verses that go with it.
And people to look at a relationship, everybody talks about love, right? Everybody talks love being that feeling, that emotional connection, that thing that keeps us bound together. Love isn't just a feeling. Love is an action.
The verb.
It's not just, it's a verb. It's an action. It's that thing that keeps that connection. If you're not working at it, it's not going to stay there. And communication is that, one of those communications is that action that is part of that love that you guys build with each other.
I mentioned that one movie, Fireproof and The Love Dare. I would tell you, she's got the book by Gary Chapman for the 5 love languages there.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely a great resource. I would tell you, it helps you to understand some of the things. There's the Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus thing. Numerous books I could suggest to you if you guys want. Write down here in the comments. Let us know if you're looking for some Christian things. We can help out with that as far as stuff biblically that will help you out. I would tell you, first and foremost, for me, Ephesians 5 and Ephesians 6 were those were the two passages that really set us up for everything going forward.
The whole hope in all of this is that the ground and the foundation is being built, and the walls around you are what you live in, and you're living with your spouse, your loved one, and in order to continue to grow and be strong is to know about each other and to love one another. And over time, even, the healthiest of marriages has their highs and lows, but working through it is the most important thing. Marriage is an action. It's an active day-to-day life, and you have to work at it. Nothing is perfect. There's no such thing as a perfect marriage. But if you're not going to talk to each other, you're not going to know what's going on in each other's lives. So you're not going to get the understanding.
There's a reason why they use the word when they say work it out.
Mm-hmm.
Work.
So my best advice in all of this is find a time to learn and educate yourself about your spouse every week. Find something new, because believe me, like every time my husband deploys, like he explained earlier, we sat down and had a conversation about how much time he's been away over the last 4 years, and guesstimated time is I've had about maybe a year and a half in months, in time frame over the last 4 years where he was actually home. And so every time he leaves, he's growing and learning different things, going to different countries, but I'm also changing here. And the only way he's understanding about me is for us to spend time together and to envelope each other in our lives and to explain what I've seen, what I've done, what I've experienced. And I also have to know about my husband and what he's changed, because he's not the same guy every time he leaves and comes home. He's changed too. And so have I. So
yep. Like this time I actually grew my hair back out a little bit.
And you look wonderful, my love. But our marriage is worth it. We didn't get married for just the whole, oh, look it, he put a ring on it. There's purpose.
That's part of it.
And there's growth. He's got a nice butt. There's more things to it, and I want us to have a strong relationship, and I want us to have a happy marriage. And so that's one reason why we're having this conversation, is I wanted you guys to, if you guys are seeing something, or you guys want to try something new, or you guys, little rubbing each other raw, try something different, get out of that, doldrum and see something new about your spouse. Write them a letter, leave a love note. He would leave little sticky notes on the coffee pot or on the fridge or on the mirror that told me how much he loved me. He would even leave a Bible verse for me to read that would amplify, how my day started and made me feel good. And this is the gift that he would give me. It didn't have to be jewelry. It didn't have to be flowers. It didn't have to be anything of expense. It's just his time, and time is precious. So I hope you guys get that out of this message. That's what I wanted to explain. Take time to love one another, create awesome memories. And I hope you guys get to enjoy seeing his face a little bit more. I hope we can do another video before, we can't do this again.
Yep. So much love, many blessings. Again, I hope everything is awesome. Again, live life together with each other. It is an awesome journey. Have fun. Get out there and do it.
Exactly.
We'll see you guys next week.
You guys take care. See you guys next week. Bye.